Most firms treat intake like customer service. Answer the phone, take a message, and just hope they call back. But the best operators in the world treat it like sales. And I mean that literally. We sat down with John Morgan and he told us his intake team runs exactly like a sales floor. So today, let's steal the objection handling playbook from the SDRs and account execs who actually close deals and teach your intake team to do the same. I'm Magdalena Madrigal, hiring specialist here at Legal Staff Now. We've helped over 500 law firms build the teams behind their growth. We're an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company, and our work's been featured in Bloomberg Law. My whole world is helping growing firms build the hiring infrastructure that gets the right people into the right seats before the growth even demands it. We've trained intake teams inside firms across the country and watched which practices actually move the needle on conversion and retention. We will always die on this hill, and you need to be ready for this mindset shift. Intake isn't customer service, it's sales. When we talked to John Morgan about this, he made it clear. His entire intake operation runs like a sales floor. It's how the biggest PI firm in the country approaches it, and you should too. And we're not asking you to treat this like Wall Street, this is not the point, but we're asking you to treat this like more of a sale. Your person on the call isn't there to just take a message. They're there to close. They have to navigate the caller to book the consultation and choose your firm over the 3 others that they're calling. And that's especially true the moment you get to scheduling. A great intake person doesn't just offer a time slot and hope. They lock it in the same way a strong sales rep closes before hanging up. That's the difference between a signed client and a maybe. And your intake team hears those exact same lines every single day. So we should handle them like a sales team does. So step 1 is to collect every objection. Go through your call recordings, sit down with your team, and write down every hesitation and every pushback. Get them all in one place because you can't fix what you haven't actually named. Step 2 is to run that list through AI analysis. Let it cluster the objections, show you which ones come up most, and point out where you're losing people. Use Claude for this, it's pretty good, or Gemini or ChatGPT. All 3 are pretty good at this. The good thing about these tools is that you can even draft the strongest response to each objection, and it's all valid data pulled straight from your sources where it will rarely hallucinate. If you're scared of hallucinations, have it analyze data in small batches. The AI is smart enough to then work in the small batches. Step 3, and this is where the real lift happens. You train your team by drilling those responses with actual closing technique. Start with the assumptive close on scheduling. Instead of, do you want to book something, your person says, I've got Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 10. Which one works better for you? Teach them to acknowledge an objection instead of arguing with it. That's how you keep the caller on the line. And when they ask, what's this going to cost? Answer with value, not defensiveness. Show what the client is actually getting. And lean on the urgency the law actually gives you. Deadlines pass, evidence fades, and that's real. When a caller has a real deadline, they book now instead of drifting off to think about it. And we realize that there's many types of objections. We can spend many hours making modules on just one single objection and how to handle them. What you need to get right is that you need to role play extensively about why these objections happen and where to pivot. Your intake directors need to help with this, or your senior salespeople. It's something we can't cover in great detail here. And step 4, which almost every firm skips, is to make sure your follow-ups are actually scheduled. In sales, the fortune's in the follow-up. A good rep never lets a maybe quietly die. They book the next touch before they hang up. Your intake team has to do the same. Lock in the follow-up call before the first conversation even ends. And John Morgan doesn't treat intake as an afterthought at all. He built a whole operation around it and runs it with the intensity of a sales floor. Because to him, the call is where the entire business is won or lost. And their average sign time, 20 minutes from first contract. That's speed and closing technique working together. Here's the philosophy that drives it. The moment someone calls is the only moment you'll ever have your best chance to sign them. Missing that moment is a business failure, not a staffing issue. And one more thing from the sales playbook. When a good sales rep faces an objection, they pause and they slow down. Unsuccessful reps get flustered and speed up. And the little things matter here too, like how they pace the call and how they sound genuinely on the caller's side instead of rushed. Because a scared person can feel the difference between someone reading a script and someone actually trying to help them. So drill your intake team to pause when an objection comes. That composure is what separates closers from order takers. Here's the thing, this whole system only works if it's ongoing. You collect, you analyze, you drill, and you follow up. That cycle never stops. And that ongoing training is exactly what turns people answering your phones into actual closers. That's the whole difference between a firm that signs its lead and the one that just answers them. So treat your intake like the sales team that it actually is. Collect the objections, run them through AI, drill the closes, and lock in the follow ups. That's how you turn the people answering your phones into closers who sign your firm's biggest opportunities. If you're ready to treat your intake like the sales operation it should be, let's talk about building a system that converts. Book a call with us and we'll walk through how to set this up for your firm. Talk soon.